hey, my world kind of blew up, and the ride or die said she didn't want to be married anymore.
Oh,
It was rough. I did the turn the lights off or turn the lights on, slow down the music conversation at breakfast.
Yep.
And I thought it was pretty good. And she said, nope. I said, okay. So then I followed up a couple weeks later, said, all right, well, then I wrote an email and said, well, I think these are the options. Blow it up the house. You sell it. We don't have a place to live. You try and buy me out. I try and buy you out. You know, get the lawyers involved. It's a lot of money. Trying to be respectful and amicable. We got 2 sons. And she's like, well, what about nesting?
Oh,
nesting
God.
A good idea?
Oh, God.
And so what it turned into, I was like, all right, if I can go explore that option. I got a family member down the road a little bit. And I said, I'll go see if, their extra room is available. And they said, well, before I could even have that conversation, it was breakfast, made some phone calls, this and that. Then she's like, wait, no, let's not do that. We left breakfast saying, let's try nesting. That was kind of and then on my way over to have that, well, no, what about just co-parenting under the same house, knowing what we know, not telling anybody yet? And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
so
nope. Nesting is a terrible idea.
That's kind of what I was thinking. So on the follow-up that, a week later, she's like, can you come to my therapist appointment? I was like, sure, yeah. I said, you got something to say? Well, I just need a safe space to talk about this. All right, what you got? Well, what about separation and you just leave for a little while I get my stuff lined out? In my head,
no,
you're the one wanting a divorce. I said,
that's right.
I want to ride or die. I want to go. I'm fix this. I don't think there's grounds, there wasn't any, infidelity. I'm not some, drunk, I'm not a bad guy, I don't think. And I think when I hear you, I've been binging your show for about 6 months, and I can see the failure factory. I can see the not handling your own trauma. I've gone through my own journey. We had drama with my youngest, this and that. And I don't think she processed it. And it's turning into, I don't want to be married. And if I do something else, and I don't know what to do. Because the next conversation with the therapist last night was, well, what if you leave the house and I stay here? I'm like, wait, what?
No. Yeah, no. If she wants to leave you, she can leave you. She's an adult and you can't stop her.
Okay.
But coming up with these bullcrap, hippy, dippy, over-intellectualized ways to avoid reality. And for people,
reality, exactly.
People listening, nesting is, we're going to keep the kids at the house because supposedly it's better for the kids for mom and dad to get divorced, but the kids to stay in the house, and mom lives there a couple days a week and dad lives there a few days a week instead of them going back and forth. The part that the intellectual goofballs leave out is, if we had that ability to coordinate, we'd be able to fix our marriage. If we had that kind of resources, we could, you know what I'm saying? It's lunacy. And the fact that kids are air filters for a home. They absorb everything. And so when you have, it's just madness. It's madness, dude. Anyway, I could go on. I don't want to derail the conversation. It sounds like, I trust you, man. You sound like a pretty amazing guy. It sounds like your wife is spinning out and is just trying to whack-a-mole with feelings and hurt and all that stuff. And you're bearing the brunt of it. But at the end of the day, she's choosing to dissolve your marriage and leave. Then if she's making that choice comes with a whole bunch of consequences. And choosing to work on your marriage and to recommit and build something new, that's a choice too. Both of those are hard. She just has to choose her hard.
So then, okay, I told that. She's like, I don't want to choose that hard. Okay, fair. So then the next conversation stepped up to all right, well then what do you tell the boys? What I want to tell the boys is I wanted to be married. Mom didn't.
Yes.
And I don't,
how old are they?
We're in the about to be 13, a couple months, and about to be 10.
Yes, that is a fair statement.
Right. And the therapist, which I think is a loon, she's like, well, yeah, let's not, something where, it vilifies one person or the other.
But one person is the villain here, right?
Well, no, she said something like that. I'm kind of like, I told her I want to be married, and she doesn't want, a 9-year-old. That's okay for a 9-year-old. I mean, to hear that.
It's
like, hey,
that mommy is struggling. Like with the 13-year-old, yeah, you got to be honest, because here's the deal. You can't risk them thinking as their world is exploding, oh, my dad's a liar too.
Right.
That is
right, exactly.
hyper untethering.
Okay.
There is something about you guys sitting there saying, to the ends of the earth, we love you.
Yeah.
We will always be there for you. We will always figure out a way to come through for you. All that kind of stuff that parents need to say together to a 13-year-old whose whole world is exploding. But also, I think it's fair to say, Mom is going through a lot right now, and she is choosing to not be married anymore.
Okay.
We both still love you. She loves you forever. And yes, a 13-year-old's going to go, I wonder if one day she chooses to not want to be my mom. That is a fair question.
Right.
And that's needs to be addressed on the table. And you can't avoid this. With a 9-year-old, it does need to be a little more delicate.
Yeah, he's our special one. And he understands. He's smart. He has some medical stuff. And again, there's my, like, after listening to you, I can be like, hey, you didn't resolve this grief. Like, you didn't. Like, I had people that had my back and mowed my lawn, and like I cried with a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And she didn't have that.
Yeah.
And she didn't look for it from me either.
And my guess is it's welled up inside of her soul. That plus everything else, plus probably some resentment that you had all the support and she didn't, and yada yada. At the end of the day, she doesn't feel safe in her own skin. She doesn't like the life she's co-created.
Right. And I can't do nothing about that.
That's right.
Make money and try and be around, right?
Well,
Coach
I mean,
team,
the only thing you could do is what you've done, which is say, hey, we have co-created this life. I want to co-create a new one with you. And she said no.
Yep.
And
okay, so then
there's not a way to soft land this.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell her.
And I think you're on to something, and this isn't every relationship, but I think in your marriage in particular, I think you love her enough and see enough, have known her well enough to know this is going to be yet another Xanax.
Oh, and I want to clarify also, like, I've had my Xanax too. Don't get me wrong.
No,
like,
we all do. We all do.
Like, I did it. Like, I messed up, and I look for it. Yeah, I get it.
We all do. We all do. I'm saying
know
this is her kicking the can down the road even further.
That's what I feel like. Yeah.
She'll have a reckoning at some point with the mirror. The mirror.
So my dilemma now is like, all right, well, now she wants to. But nesting was the first. Now the second one's like, how about you move out of the house just so I can buy some time so that I can set myself up. And, my teaching credential needs to come through and this and that and blah, blah, blah.
Big boy and big girl decisions come with big boy and big girl choices and consequences, period.
How do I say that lovingly?
I think is loving. Nothing you say is going to be received lovingly because lovingly for her is, I want the world to bend to how I feel in this particular moment. And she found some therapist that would bend that way. She found some internet article that said, well, here's an alternative to reality. We'll call it nesting, where we're going to live under the illusion that the kids' lives aren't disrupted or they're minimally disrupted when it's just, you know what I mean? So
to me, I want to turn it into I make all the money, not all the money. She has 2 part-time jobs, and she's like, well, and a few years ago, she just got into part-time jobs. She had a teaching career for a little bit and started stashing all that money in an account. I couldn't. Okay, fine, whatever. That's her savings. I make enough money to make the house go, right? So if you move out, I'll start putting my part-time paychecks in there so we can then run the house. I'm like, it costs $4,000 a month to run the house. Like, you're $80 to $100, whatever it is, and you want me to move out?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like I deserve that one, but I don't know how to not, turn this into a bickering, fighting, blow up grenade and still hold integrity and do the right thing.
It already is. Already is. And so let me just say this. In my house, I would heartbreakingly and with all the grief in the world, if my wife was having the same conversation, I would say, hey, I love you. And if you need to go, I won't stand at the door. Like, you're an adult. I'll do anything and everything that I can to help you create a world where you feel safe enough to stay. But if you want to go, you can go. I'm not going to leave. This is my house. and these are the kids. And if you want to take the kids from their home, you can take me to court. But you can't pretend that you can't, at the same time you're blowing up this family, you can't also pretend that everything is mostly going to stay the same. And I would say that in an honorable way, in retaining her dignity. She's clearly going through hell. But it's a disassociative. Like she does not have her feet on the ground. And I'm heartbroken that she got in with a therapist that didn't firmly plant her feet on the ground and say, I'll sit with you and walk with you, and I'll hold up a mirror as we go through this separation, this divorce. But I'm going to be honest, we got to make a budget. And we're going to have to talk about what no fault looks like in Nevada. And we got to go through these things and what sharing custody is, because the world you're envisioning is not a real world. And her therapist failed her, and I'm sorry.
I'm just looking for anything else I can do that could be a right move.
I think you're a pretty good man.
Thank you.
I mean, it sounds like you've gone to hell and back. Or maybe you're not back yet. And maybe
I'm back. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's the thing. The challenge is when you get back, your skin's a little bit thicker, and it's easy to want to just mount up and go to war. And I think for you, the challenge is going to be exhaling. Because pretty soon she's going to go from this woman I'm desperately trying to stay married to a woman who's blowing up my kids' lives.
War would feel better. You're right. That would feel, yeah.
It's harder to stay in it. And it's harder to make that shift. Like, I'm going to model for my two boys.
Yes.
What dignity and respect looks like when they're getting punched in the face. So hard. But this is my home. This is their home, and we're going to stay here. If you want to go, I'm not going to slash your tires. Hey, brother, I'm heartbroken for you. Hey, how about this? See if your wife will call in.
Okay. I sent her one just to see if she would do it. Like, hey, check this out. And I called her. Like, I would even alluded to your advice. I said, hey, I'm talking to this guru. She's like, who's your new guru? I was like, I got a guru. Hey, thank you for your time. I really appreciate what you do. God bless.
All right, brother. Thanks for being in our gang, dude. And I'm so sorry this is happening, man.
Thank you. Take care.
So sorry.